and it's called.
So I heard some crazy shit. I heard some crazy shit about this. I don't know what they talk about here. Talk about more is. Can you give me the gist of kind of what happened as like chapters, so I can kind of know what time to be at?
That I really love.
Cosmetics.
Product manager.
DNA and
What else can you tell us?
Cosmetics.
that are now grab. Exactly.
Cosmetics.
So
Oh wow. So
that was
Cosmetics.
we've got for our store.
Get to feed.
Without having.
Push drops.
It comes complete with a cup on the top.
Products. Ah, here we go. 2v8. Here we go. So half of the stream were just products and cosmetics, yeah?
Give us an update on the next iteration of
Alright.
2v8. That's
So,
just around the corner.
spoiler alert. I already know they're going to say some weird shit, but I just want to see it from their mouths and the reasoning and stuff. But this is, like, they've made 2v8 possibly unfun. But let's just see. Like, I want to hear all of it.
Corner. So thanks for being here.
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
So as I mentioned, I used the word iteration. I might say it a few more times because it's kind of the perfect word. So when we brought the
That's nice
mode
about
out
this show.
this past summer,
That,
said it would be a first
the
iteration, and it
back,
truly
you can
was.
go.
And now we're ready to bring the second iteration, which will be from November 12th to November 26th. So you have to wait another minute, but we have a lot, as you've just seen in the show, a lot coming to tide you over there. But yeah, the team from the beginning knew that what we released in the summer.
Louder. You always want it louder.
First step. So Justin's going to
You always want it louder.
tell us about what we've done to address player feedback and add some new
Player
functionality.
feedback.
So why don't we start? Tell me how the team reacted to the players' reaction to 2v8.
Yeah, so first, I mean, it was a great reception from the community. Our team was super happy. We were really relieved there were no big bugs. Huge shout out to the team. They put in a lot of effort.
Right, so great reception. Everyone really enjoyed it. No bugs. One thing, obviously, queue times. That's the only thing they need to fix. Add more killers. Queue time. That's it. But they don't just do that, do they? That would be too smart.
For that first iteration. So it was great to see it be a success. And of course, anytime you put something live for the first time ever, you're going to learn something new. Sometimes it can be anticipated. Sometimes it can kind of come out of the blue. With that in mind, we've made a few changes for V2 real quick. We also did a few things we knew we wanted to do in advance. And we're getting it back out in players' hands pretty quickly, as you can imagine. I think some people speculated 6 months would be the next run. We're doing it basically in 3.
Yep.
And it's largely because, one, we didn't want players to wait 6 months to play it again, of course, and we didn't really want to wait 6 months to get more feedback.
Yeah, 6 months is kind of the standard DBD turnaround time, so getting it in within this window is actually a big win for us and for players, so psyched that it could come back. So you mentioned that you already had stuff or the team already had stuff they wanted to address before we even got the
Your favorite
feedback. So
Pokemon?
let's start with that.
Charmander.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we knew, for one, that more content was needed.
So what I
We had
started
5
with.
killers in the first iteration. We have to add more killers, of course, probably add more maps. So that was something we knew we wanted to
In Pokemon Red. Game Boy. Color.
lock in real
Or maybe Game Boy Advance. I don't know.
quick. I'm happy to announce today that we are adding 3 new killers for this next iteration. It'll be the Death Slinger,
There he is.
the Blight,
Look at him.
Yeah, Black Super
Glory, and
Strong.
the Spirit, of course.
Ta-da! Awesome. And with those new killers, can we also expect some new maps?
Yes, so 5 new maps. Of course, Dead Dog Saloon's going to make its first appearance in 2v8, Yamoka Estate as well. And then there'll be 3 additional maps from the existing realms
Okay.
that we had last time. And then
So far, so good, right? New maps, new killer, or 3 new killers, right? Good.
and the last thing for sure that we always knew we were going to do in this iteration long before we got feedback was survivors had classes in the first iteration. Killers did not. We knew that one day we wanted killers to be at parity there, so a killer class system.
Huh. All right, so hold on to that for a minute. We'll come back to the killer classes.
Killer
So
class system.
That's what you knew you were going to change already. So the unknown element was what the players would say and think. So what did we get from player feedback that we're working on in this new version?
Play feedback.
Yeah, so the first big
As I said, play feedback will always 100% of the time be more towards Survivor. because there's more people playing Survivor on every single game mode, right? So it's always going to be pro Survivor player feedback. They should know that. We know that. They should know that, right? It's always going to be that way.
Big one was people really wanted to play killer in this first iteration, and it makes sense. We anticipated that to some level. It's the first time you play with a friend as a killer or play with a partner.
I agree with that. I agree. This was the thing where people most want to play killer. Yep.
I think the extent to which
There was still more playing Survivor because it has to be.
that was true was far greater than we anticipated. Some players were waiting 8, 9, 10 minutes just for a match in 2v8 as killer. Shows how awesome the experience was, but at the same time, it's not something we want.
So let's actually dissect this as well, right? So people really wanted to play killer in this game mode more than they do on the other, and it even shocked the devs because they're so used to everyone just mainly wanted to play Survivor, right? I wonder why. Why do you think it is? For me, it was a no MMR, because then you could just, just fuck around, right? You could just fuck around, have some fun. It was also, what else would I say it would be? I guess just the, the uniqueness, right? You get to play with another person, right? So I guess there is that. And what else would I say? I quite liked you doing all. It was more about chasers. It really was more about chasers, guys. It seriously were. Like 2v8 was more about chasers. So more about chasers, no MMR, and someone you're playing with. Get rid of that. More about chasers, no MMR. You can have them in the normal game. Food for thought.
Players have to.
Not a great experience.
Of course. Yes. So one of the big ways to tackle that, we figure, is to make the Survivor experience more exciting, more interesting, and that's one of the areas of focus for V2.
Survivor experience more exciting? Do they mean the killers experience less fun? Is that what they're saying? I've been spoiled a bit because I know what they're going to say. But, yeah.
V2, for sure. Another thing we noticed as the event wore on, especially near the end, this idea of slugging to win became prominent. We knew that's something we want to address in V2, and we have a
That's fair enough.
Pretty good solution.
I agree with that.
And then last but not least, this snowballing. I mean, 1v4 can snowball a little bit, but on 2v8 it was sort of exasperated.
Right.
So it could really snowball to the point where it wasn't really fun at times.
Huh? Okay, now I'm getting a bit lost. Wait.
4 can prominent. We knew that's something, and that's one of the areas of focus for V2, for sure. Another thing.
Right, so the slugging thing, fair enough. Right, the slugging, fair enough. I agree. Like, it should be about chasers. Like, they're almost talking about how the game should be, but whatever. Like, they're so blind. They're annoying, man. Because they almost have it. They almost have it, but they just don't get it. So the slugging thing, yeah, fair enough. Slugging people to try and just get them all, and then what was it? Like, get them all in the cages so no one can do any more chasers. So it was almost like going for the one hugs, right? Very similar. So I agree with that. Yeah, unbreakable at base, so you know the slugging thing don't happen. That'd be a good change. Leave. That's it. Just stop. That's it. Just leave that. But they do weird shit, don't they?
Thing we noticed as the event wore on, especially near the end, this idea of slugging to win became prominent. We knew that's something we want to address in V2, and we have
that's fair enough.
We believe is a pretty good solution for that.
Yep.
And then last but not least, this snowballing. I mean,
I don't get this. The snowballing. So this happens on both sides, right? If the killer has a really good start and plays really well at the game, they can snowball and gain momentum. If the survivors do really well at the start and get control of the game, they can snowball the momentum. So what the fuck are they on about? That's literally the game, innit? It's literally the game. It's when one side plays better than the other, they can get a snowball. So they're going to try and, like, force more... Like, they love forcing outcomes. They're going to try and force more outcomes. Like, why are they looking at a snowball as an issue?
I mean, 1v4 can snowball a little bit, but on 2v8 it was sort of exasperated.
And also, 1v4 can snowball a little bit. Are you talking about killer or survivor here?
Right. so it could really snowball to the point where it wasn't
Because both sides snowball.
really fun.
But just like they did with free gen kind of lockdowns, they fucked the killer, but didn't do anything for Survivor, right? They made it where the killer only can hit 8 times, and then the gens are blocked, but the survivors can infinitely heal. They were the two issues of the stalemate, right? The killer can infinitely kick, the survivors can infinitely heal, the killer can't chase anyone because then they can finish the gen. So it's stalemate. So what they did is they were like, okay, you can infinitely heal, but now we'll just fuck the killer, even though they were both in the same situation, right? And it's actually something what they fucked up to get into that position to start with too.
At times, and we have a solution, a small solution that'll help deal with that. It's
Small solution.
pretty simple. Basically, every time a survivor is hooked, the gen repair speed will speed up slightly.
Okay. So only the killer can snowball, guys. That's what they believe. Only the killer can snowball in this video game. Right. So the killer, they're gonna go for less chasers. Like, oh, they're so stupid. Right. So we were just talking about this, where topsy-turvy land, right? We like people going for chasers. We heard ya. You love going for chasers. What we're gonna do is when a killer gets a hook, we're going to make gens go faster. Because what that does is it allows more time for chasers. Especially long ones. I don't know, dude. I don't know. They're fucking stupid. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't get it. I don't get them. I do not understand how the devs think. And everyone who agrees with them, I don't understand how you think. I've never understood it for years.
Every time a generator pops, it will decrease. So as long as the map match.
So when the gen pops, then it goes down again. So they get to get a gem for free. So you're speeding them up and then at least slowing them down. But the speed up is just fucking weird.
Just staying balanced, you won't really feel it at all.
You won't feel it. You won't feel the gens going quicker. Okay, let's try and think what like the angle they're going at. So what they're trying to do is if a killer is like super outplaying the survivors, you know what it is? It's like catch up. You know, on like racing car games, they implemented something on racing car games, or racing games, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I can't remember what it were, but it's catch up mechanic. And what happens is if one person does really, really well, it puts the person behind them, and it allows them to have a higher top speed. So even if this person continues to do really well, this person slowly catches up. That's what I think they want. So if the killer does really, really well, they always want the survivors to be able to catch up, even though the killer is playing super well. And if they continue to play super well, the survivors still are catching up as if it's not doing anything. So if you play shit with killer, you'll have about the same gen speed as if you play good with killer, correct? That's what I think they're going for. So they're trying to create this like forced kind of momentum, which isn't based on any of your own skill. Yeah, what about catch up for killer? Is there any catch up for killer? What about if you do bad with killer and they've done like 5 gens? Do you get any catch up, or can the survivors not snowball? Gens slow down when you complete them. Okay. Well, at least there's that.
But as soon as it starts to snowball one way or the other, you'll start to feel that system kick
Okay.
Wait.
Cool. So you mentioned
decrease. So as long as a small solution that'll help deal with that, it's pretty simple.
So it's catch up for both in different ways. Well, at least they've got that. I still don't like it. I don't like the fake fucking orchestrated. It's like an orchestrated gameplay loop, which you're not even having that much control over. I don't like that. I want to feel like I'm the fucking captain of my own destiny, I want to feel like I'm making an impact. But they say it's going to be small, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. If it goes both ways, I don't like it. I don't like the catch mechanic in racing games. But, if it goes both ways, at least it's fair, right?
Basically, every time a survivor is hooked, the gen repair speed will speed up slightly. Every time a generator pops, it will decrease.
Oh, there
So
it
as
is,
long
there
as
it
the
is.
match is staying balanced, you won't really feel it at all. But as soon as it starts to snowball one way or the other, you'll start to feel that.
Okay, when he said pop decrease, I thought they were saying something else. I get it. So at least it's going both ways. I don't like it though. I don't like the forced thing.
System kick.
Okay.
Orchestrated, yep.
Cool. So you mentioned that our take to addressing the queue issue is make survivors more interesting. So let's get into that. So what is new for the survivors in this iteration?
Yeah, so one of the things is we wanted to give them more to do. And so in this next iteration, we have two sort of, I don't know, ideas that we are introducing, I guess, today. We have what we call an active ability as well as an unlock ability.
Right.
And the unlock ability players would be sort of familiar with from the first iteration. In the first iteration, after being
There were super powerful abilities. The one where you could see the killers, I thought that was insane. The scout or whatever it was, that was fucking
to the
insane.
cage, I believe it was 2 times, every survivor would unlock the perk self-care,
Right.
effectively. We're just doubling down on that mechanic. Now, what you will unlock is class dependent. So each class has their own perk. The escapist is still self-care, but the other 3 classes will have their own unique sort of unlock perk. And that's
That'll
very
work.
interesting.
And I think, yeah, keep going. We got some video queued up that they're going to show you here for the next bit.
All right, good. And then the next one is active abilities. Just to add more to that survivor gameplay, effectively active abilities are going to charge up by themselves over time.
That man just rebuilt a pallet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once
Know
it's
about
charged,
this.
you can use your active ability. You can do great things like rebuild a pallet.
What else?
You know, heal teammates, boost gen repair speed. It just depends on what your class is.
Why boost gem repair speed again? They're just obsessed with it. They're fucking obsessed with it.
Active abilities.
Yeah.
So active abilities. So what are these again?
Ability for that survivor gameplay.
And I think,
So each class has their own perk. The escapist is still self-care, but the other 3 classes will have their own unique sort of unlock perk.
Perk.
And that's very interesting.
and I think, yeah, keep going. We got some video queued up that they're going to show you here for the next bit.
All right, good. And then the next one is active abilities. Just to add more to that survivor
Yeah, so they have active ability. I guess is it 4 active abilities? So like what is it? 4 people? Rebuilding pallets in a game mode that has triple to start with. Yeah, it's really fucking stupid, the rebuilding pallet thing. How... Oh, no.
Gameplay.
Are they gonna... Dude, I've thought into the future. Do you think they're going to make this whole animation and just only have it for 2v8? Or do you think they'll put this as a perk? In the main game. Wow, I don't know if they'd spend all this time if they're not going to do it. And they're all quite lazy, right? If they can reuse something, this would be like an easy thing to just reuse. They've already got it.
Effectively, active abilities are going to charge up by themselves over time.
And it says visuals not final, so they're proper polishing it. Prepare to destroy Shack Pallet 2 times, yeah. Okay,
They're going to show you here
so
for the next
regarding
All
the
right, good. And then the next
putting
one
the
is
pallets back,
active
right?
abilities. Just to add more to
Let's
that
go back.
survivor.
So for those who've played the 2v8, it is full of pallets. Like, it is absolutely full of pallets. When I've played Survivor, it's been a bit of a joke with how many pallets there is. So them to think to actively put up more pallets, it's strange. I guess it depends on, because now I've heard how they're actually explaining it. I guess it depends on how many classes can do it and how many times a match they can use it as well, right? And how quick it is too. Like, it's quite quick, this.
And I think, yeah, keep going. We got some video queued up that they're going to show you here for the next bit.
All right, good. And then the next one is active abilities. Just to add more to that survivor gameplay. Effectively, active abilities are going
3.
to charge.
It's like 3 seconds. So it depends how quick it is too. Like, if it takes a while, if it takes like 10 seconds, it's not too bad because they all going away from gens. You give them another objective, right? They can't do it multiple times either. If it's 3 seconds, like they could just go on a gen and be like, oh, pop, and then go back on, then it's going to be more of a problem, right? I don't know. I do feel like I need to see how it works. The maps were already so busted with how many pallets they were. It might It obviously will do something, but it might not be too bad. I don't know. I need to see how fast it's going to be. I need to see how many times they can do it. And I need to see how many people can use it, right? That's where I am with it. It will be annoying, especially with what they're going to say soon, because this isn't the bad thing. This isn't the bad thing, guys. I've heard. I got spoiled. I told you.
Up by themselves over time.
That man just rebuilt a pallet.
Yes, and
What is that, by the way? Fuck is that?
once it's
They're
charged,
healing.
you can use your active ability. You can do gameplay. Effectively, active abilities are going to charge up by themselves over time.
That man just rebuilt a pallet.
Yes, and
They just healed from full.
the next one is active abilities.
both
Just to add
injured.
more to that Survivor gameplay. Effectively, active abilities are going to charge up by themselves over time.
That man
They're both injured.
just rebuilt a pallet.
Both healed. Why is that? That's one of their active abilities, isn't it? So in mid-chase, they can put one of their active abilities, which give them a free heal, correct? Have people noticed that? That's what it looks like. So mid-chase, you could just free heal. While making pallets as well.
Yes, and
Not the bad thing.
once it's
They're
charged, you
healing.
can use your active ability. You can do great things like rebuild a pallet, heal teammates.
Heal teammates. You didn't say it. What about the insta-heal what we just saw? That was an insta-heal.
Boost gen repair speed. It just depends on
Boost.
what your class's active ability is.
Yeah. That's awesome. And in the pickups, right?
Yeah, so that's the last thing that active abilities can do. To address slugging, if your active ability is charged, or once it's charged and you're in the dying state, you can use your active ability to pick yourself off the ground as well.
Ah, I see. Okay, interesting. So the active ability, if you are on the floor being slugged, you can use it for that. That's actually really stupid. That's stupid because I know they don't realize they've done this, but they've added a gameplay mechanic, which is, what would I say? Because they've done that, they've gave the killer a gameplay choice. If they want to get rid of the person's active ability, they slug them to get rid of it for the unbreakable instead, right? So they are kind of once again incentivizing going for that. Instead of just saying, no, the active ability is the active ability, and if you slug people, they just get up with unbreakable. Like, I don't know why they should just have that. Like, saying that it's going to impact negatively on the survivor's active ability is incentivizing people to slug. Do they realize that? Especially if the active abilities are strong.
Internally, we called those active abilities ultimates. And so that's still sort of how I think of them. It's like, it's a thing that recharges.
So the survivors are, yeah.
You can do it, do cool stuff.
So it keeps recharging. I wonder how many times a match.
Yes, so the pickup mechanic is also, it brings...
Oh, we did. Yeah. Sorry. There's
it
one.
brings flashlight saves back into the equation is what I was going to say.
This is a bad one. When did they say pick up?
If your active abilities.
Yeah, that's awesome. And in the pickups, right?
Yeah, so that's the last thing that active abilities can do. To address slugging, if your active ability is charged.
Yeah, but that wasn't it. So he was talking about, by the way, now you know, you have to pick them up and put them on hooks, right? You have to pick the survivors up to put them on hooks now. You can't just stamp on them and then go into another chase. So you have to waste that time doing that again. That's what he was saying about the pickups, but he gets confused thinking about the unbreakable as the pickup. I don't know if there's hooks, but you have to pick them up, so I'm assuming you put them on hooks, right?
Charged, or once it's charged and you're in the dying state, you can use your active ability to pick yourself off the ground as well.
That's fantastic. Internally, we called those active abilities ultimates. And so that's still sort of how I think of them. It's like, it's a thing that recharges. You can do it, do cool stuff. Yes, so the pickup mechanic is also, it brings...
Oh, we did.
Why does it do that? What's happening here? Do you see this?
do cool stuff. Yes, so
now he's reading the thing, the teleprompter, right? And it says, you know, the pickup mechanic, because he wants to go back to it, because they kind of went on a bit of they went off script a tiny bit, I think. But then he goes, no, he didn't. He says something like this. Like, look.
the pickup mechanic is also, you know, it brings
Oh, we did.
What? What's that? No, it did. No, it did.
can do cool stuff. Yes, so the pickup mechanic is also, you know, it brings
Oh, we did. Yeah. Sorry. I just there's
it
one.
brings flashlight saves back into the mechanic is also,
I don't get
you
it.
know, it brings
Oh, we did.
No, it did. No, it did.
Yeah. Sorry.
But it's weird. They get it. It's an inside thing. Because, like, he just said the pickup mechanic, and then he went, no, it did. And then they get it. But I don't get what the fuck's going on here. So it's like some inside thing. No, we didn't. Did he say no, we didn't? He's about to say something he shouldn't.
yes, so the pickup mechanic is also, you know, it brings
Oh, we did. Yeah. Sorry. I just there's
it
one.
brings flashlight saves back into the equation is what I was going to say.
Exactly. So that's
Okay. Yeah, maybe something they're not supposed to. I don't know. Decided changing it, assuming it's for the bear. Probably with a guy explaining the mod. Preventing him from saying something that he should not. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's really awkward. It's an awkward laugh, isn't it?
the one other big thing we heard.
But this anyway, whatever. I didn't know that happened, but what the fuck are they doing with this? Why are they doing this?
a lot in the first iteration was like, there's
Oh, you think he was talking about the ultimates? That was a while back though.
no flashlight
Whatever.
saves, there's no pallet saves, so killers will have to pick up a survivor again before they can send them to the cage. Reintroduces that gameplay.
Oh, so you don't put them on hooks, but you have to pick them up. Yeah. So pallet saves can happen. So if they go down at a pallet, you can't pick them up, but you need to look around for other people, which isn't fun, I don't think, but maybe it is for you guys. I don't know. It isn't. I enjoyed like downing them, hitting them, onto the next. I enjoyed that. It's way more fun going for chasers. Having to put some on the floor and then being like, oh, they might have unbreakable, and oh, this person might be going for a pallet save, and oh, they might be going for the flashlight save, and oh, there's someone over there, and then I chase that person, but now that guy gets up because of the thing. I need to down them again. I don't find that enjoyable at all, honestly. It's all right for survivor, but it's not enjoyable for killer.
There's more interactions with the killers again, which is what we really want.
Yeah, there you go, right there. There's the video.
So
They're
fun.
waiting for us to say the flashlight. That's why. All right, so of course you just saw there's a ton more for the survivors to do, and again the hope is that gives more people a draw to play survivor, so we don't have such a lopsided killer queue.
So they're trying to make annoying moments on the killer side to push people to play survivor more. Is that what it is? Or is that flashlight saver? Oh, flashlights are pissies, you know. Is that what they're trying to do? So instead of trying to work out how to make the queues smoother, they're doing it where they're trying to force people to play survivor more because they're trying to make it more fun than killer. Is that they can't be doing that. He'll have to the flashlight save, yeah, just run Lightborn. Can't. You don't have any perks in this mode. That's some backward ass thinking, man. Like forcing one side to be more fun than the other to try and get more people to play it. That's so weird. Well, it still could be fun, the 2v8, just not as fun.
So speaking of killers, you mentioned earlier that we're adding classes, so let's get into that.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
what the
another one
classes
of the
are.
main updates in V2. In the first iteration, all of killers had their own sort of individual abilities, and those are sticking around. But in addition to those, killers will now be able to
And
choose
active?
one of 4 classes, which sort of augment whatever your preferred playstyle is as killer. And it really allows you to sort of customize whichever character you want to the playstyle you have.
Such as
It is
one
important
example.
to note, I think, for everybody that in each match, you can only have one of each class. So 2 killers cannot use the same class.
Okay.
But I think as far as the classes are, you know.
Won't that fuck with matchmaking? What happens if there's a really popular class? Won't that make it harder to find your partner?
Know a little bit about them, right?
Yeah, so each killer is going to choose a class, like you just said. So the classes are Shadow, which encourages sneaking up on survivors.
What? I need to say it because he's done it too many times
But I
now.
think as far as the classes
When
are,
is
you know
this?
a little bit about them, right?
Yeah, so each killer is going to choose a class, like you just said. So the classes are
When he does that, it's like he's like proper in like he's just thinking about like a distant memory, and it's like yeah, you know. If I think you're doing it.
Shadow,
Yeah.
which encourages sneaking up on survivors, blocking
That's so
escapes,
funny.
working in tandem with the other killer to create the element of surprise.
Yeah. Did I leave the stove on? Oh yeah. I really hope I didn't leave the stove on. Yeah. And the pickup and all that kind of stuff. God, if I left the stove on, that'd be really bad. I'd have to like, yeah.
Then there's Brute, all about being relentless, unstoppable force during chase.
That's funny.
And there's the Enforcer class, that's perfect for preying
Yeah, that, is the roast defrosting? Did I leave it to defrost? Because we wouldn't be able to have that tonight.
on the weak and finishing the job on the injured survivors, and then the Fearmonger.
I wasn't going to say anything, but he keeps doing it. And it's reminding me of something like that.
Movement throughout the map. and
did
staying
I lock the door? Did I lock the door? Yeah. And you could pick them up and all this kind of stuff. If I didn't lock the door, then people could get in my house.
unseen to aid your killer partner in the hunt.
Of course. And so we knew we wanted to add these classes.
I hope it
think
does it
they're
again
also
now.
going to help us make 2v8 a little bit easier to be expandable in the future. We don't have to create so many custom, unique abilities per killer in the future. So we're quite excited about them.
I'm excited to see what people think and to see them start playing around with it and what combinations they'll do as they always do. And
I can't unthink
trying
it.
out the new killers as well in the mode will introduce a ton of dynamics. So thank you, Justin, to you and the team, of course. If the team's watching back at the studio, hello, thank you for your work on 2v8. I know the community is psyched about it, psyched for it to come back. So as a reminder, it's coming back November 12th.
November
to the
12th,
26th.
okay.
Keep an eye on our socials. Go to deadbydaylight.com in the lead up for more details. And Justin, thank you
What
for
is
joining
1v1?
us. And you, I ask you to stay tuned. We're going to do our Q&A next.
Q&A is fake as fuck. All right. So takeaway. Firstly, why are they fucking around with 2v8? Anyone know? They said that everyone really enjoyed it. So why are they fucking around with it? Any ideas? Is it because more people wanted to play killer? Let's try and think about what they did in the boardroom, right? So they probably came with a thing where it says more people playing killer, less people playing survivor. It's messing up the queues. How do we fix this? Do you think that that's where it started? So they were thinking, okay, we'll make more things fun for survivor, which indirectly makes more things less fun for the killer. And they might not purposely want the killer to be less fun, but usually on a fighting, like on a game, sorry, not a fighting game, but like let's say like a fighting game, like for one person to have more fun than the other, they have to have less fun. That's how it works. It's the dynamic in it. It's the dynamic of PvP. So making one side more fun will indirectly make the other side less fun, right? So maybe that's them thinking of how to make it more fun for Survivor is going to indirectly do what I just said there. So maybe that's why, because they want to fix the queues. Killer Q made you hate 2v8 eventually. There must be ways of doing it where you can just have where it's like the old fun like we just had, and the queues are better. No, there must be a way. Like, the class system, if anything, is going to make queues worse as well, because people won't be able to match together as easily. My takeaway is it's not going to be as fun. It's not going to be as fun for Killer, but it still could be fun. I don't know how annoying the active abilities are going to be for Killer and how super ultimate they are for Survivor, which obviously will be super fun for Survivor again, but really annoying for Killer because once again the PvP dynamic. But it's basically, I guess we'll see, right? Like, it's one of the things we need to actually see it in play, I think. We've got the kind of orchestrated gameplay where when one side is doing better than the other, it forces it to get more neutral, even though one side is playing better, which is weird. I don't like that at all in any game. But they say it's minor, so if it's minor, it won't matter. I guess it depends how much truth they say in there. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got, really. I understand why they're doing what they're doing now, because of the queues. That's their kind of their fix. But yeah, but what are you guys thinking? Maybe get more swift play. Playing mainly Survivor, don't like those changes. So we're going to be facing Spirit and Blight. Yeah, Blight and Spirit's a lot stronger. I don't like that you have to pick them up. Like, they could have had everything, right? Seriously, they could have had everything. They could have had the insta-heals, which looks like they're getting. The pallets, which you can create pallets again. And two others that they haven't told us. One of them makes gens quicker for some reason. Fuck knows why. Fuck knows why. They're literally trying to orchestrate the gen speed, and then they make a trait, or the passive, or whatever they call the powers, to make gens quicker. It just doesn't make sense to me. But they could have had all that. It's the pickup. That pickup is... It's gonna make it less fun for Killer. I don't know how much less fun, but it's gonna be less fun. It's gonna be less fun. Especially with 4-mans, right? Can you get 8-mans in this? If you can get 8-mans, yes, like them all just trying to go for flashlight saves all the time, you're not going to find all 7 people when you've slugged someone. There's too many. You could potentially have another killer go in front and go for the body block, though, right? Like, as you're picking someone up, the other killer could go and hit the other survivor, but that would take comms, so then you'd be able to get it from that. But yeah, takeaway is I don't mind everything bar the pickup. Seriously. I want to see how it plays out. The pickup's the thing I'm not happy with. But there you go. That's my takeaway. You guys can think what you want as well, obviously. Have different opinions on it. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it. Maybe I'm a lot more kind of relaxed about it than some of you. Maybe I'm less relaxed about it than some of you. But that's how it is, right? But there's a little react to that. I did want to react to it.